Alright, hello gamers and welcome to Elden Ring Nightreign. Now, as I'm recording this video, it's the second day of release and I just played for the first time yesterday. I only played 2 or 3 games, so I'm not like deeply into the game yet, but I did enjoy my time playing the game and I just want to use this video as sort of like first thoughts, impressions, ideas about where the game can go, what's going to happen in the future, some of the basic stuff, you know, just a rundown basically. As I'm recording this, I'm also a bit ill, so sorry if I sound a bit dodgy, that's probably why. I'm only doing this video as like a sort of short filler video because I'm getting a new PC at the end of June, so I didn't want to start making a giant video essay on my old one and then have to move files and do all that sort of stuff. It's just a faff, so that's basically why I'm doing this, but there will be a video essay coming sort of mid-July in between then. Just as a note as well, this is all freehand. I've not written a script for this one like I would for a video essay, so if any of this just makes no sense whatsoever, please ignore me. Anyway, let's just get straight into this. Liking, commenting, subscribing is the best way to helping the algorithm. Any thoughts below is greatly appreciated, and we're getting closer to 100 subs by the minute, so please, any support anywhere is appreciated basically. That's enough yap, let's get into the video. To start this video, I enjoy the game. I have had fun playing it and I think it's got potential. At least from what I played, there's not much to do yet, but I know that I've barely scratched the surface of what can happen, and even then, only in 3 games, I saw random events and random stuff happen as well. I will say, it's definitely better than Elden Ring in terms of like the movement and the fluidity of combat. It feels like there's just loads more options to how you fight, especially with stuff like the character abilities and other parts of the kit that you can use as well. I will say, if you didn't play Elden Ring or any sort of Dark Souls type game, making like a build mid-run can be a bit overwhelming, as it were. At the moment, I'm just going for like the stuff that I know is good from Elden Ring and whatever has like more attack power and is like a higher rarity. I know eventually there'll be millions of build videos and stuff saying like, oh, this is the best thing to use, so use this. But at the moment, you just go and pick up anything, to be honest. I don't think it really makes much of a difference. In terms of the characters, I played a bit of the Sekiro type character. I can't remember his name right now. The one with the parry, and then he can turn into like a giant wolf or something. And then I played a bit of Wilder as well. I didn't really play much of the other classes at the moment, but I'm sure I will eventually try out all of them. I definitely enjoyed Wilder more. I think the parrying on the other character is kind of odd because a lot of stuff in Elden Ring just happens so quickly that it's kind of hard to sort of read the attack sometimes, especially in like a 3v3 gank fight. You get a lot of what I like to call collateral damage, where a boss is targeting someone else but their attack can still hit you at the same time, even if like you're not in the direction. If you know what I mean, you get collaterally damaged by someone else. The boss designs as well, I was thinking when I first saw this, am I just going to be playing Elden Ring, copy and paste, but in like a big field? Is that all this is going to be? But the amount of other enemies that you didn't see much of in Elden Ring, but they're present here, and all the new bosses are great. I've only seen the wolf boss at the moment, and a few other random ones here and there, but I've seen the other ones in like playtests and stuff and other people's videos, and I think everything looks great, to be honest. I'm fine with that. I wasn't really fussed about the copy and paste thing with some of the bosses. Like it's a minor note compared to other stuff. I will say the character abilities never feel too overpowered as well. That was my one concern that I had, where you were going to rely on the character abilities a bit too much. At least with the ones that I played with, there's not much reliance on just standing still, dodging attacks and then using your ability to get hits in. I will say with Wilder, it's so easy to just go on a war of attrition with his grappling hook being on such a short cooldown. You can just jump in, get a hit with a jumping R1 and then roll out and just do that over and over again because it has like a 5-second cooldown on that grappling hook. I feel like the bosses, well done for 3 players as well. You never feel like there's a slight disadvantage to having 3 players compared to 1, if you know what I mean. It never feels too chaotic in a way. I will say, I don't know if it's something with the AI specifically or if there's like an actual mechanic behind it, but when you've got all 3 of like a gank boss fight on you, it sort of feels a bit cheesy, to be honest. You've got the other 2 people destroying them, but because it's a boss fight designed for 3 people with 3 enemies, you know, 1 per person, it does feel like it's impossible to just live, basically, because all the attacks come in so fast. It's like the triple randomizer and triple boss runs that you see of Elden Ring. It's sort of like meant to be unfair, but it's in the actual vanilla game, which, I don't know. Other than that, the actual boss fights themselves are really good. I don't feel like the health bars are too much or too little. I've never been running through a boss like insanely quickly, but I've also never been sat on a boss for like 30 minutes just tapping away at his health and like doing as much damage as possible, and I'm barely making a scratch. I will say as well, in terms of the character abilities that I've seen as well from other players, nothing seems too overpowered. Nothing strikes me as that's broken. It needs to be fixed, but I'm sure there'll be something that I'll find along the way that will be completely broken. God, this video is going to be such a rant. Oh my god, how am I going to edit this crap, man? In terms of the environment, I was a bit concerned because it was just going to be Limgrave but different, and you are getting notes of Limgrave. There are certain spots around the map that I'm like, hold on a minute, I've been here before and I recognise this. I've not played with any of the major conditions or like extreme stuff. I know you can get like scarlet rot swamps and like lava lakes and stuff like that. I've not played with any of that yet. I've just been on the basic map, but even the basic map by itself, it doesn't feel like you're just running around Limgrave again. It feels like you're running around an entirely different area, just with the sort of stylistic choices and design of Limgrave, which in my head is fine. I don't really care. The traversal around the map never feels bad either, with the new mechanics as well. The jumping to walls, climbing walls, the spirit trees, I think they're called, something like that, where you can hook onto an eagle. There's the spirit jump things from base Elden Ring, but you don't need torrent, you can just jump in them. The traversal never feels like you're trapped. I will say sometimes when the ring or the zone comes in and you're in a castle or like a dungeon, it can be kind of hard to sort of navigate yourself and then come round and go over giant cliffs. I will say the map design itself doesn't lend itself well to having a ring. Sometimes it does feel like it's just impossible. One of the runs I did play, we did wipe to the zone, I guess you'd call it, which is a shame, but we were in a castle when the zone moved. We'd just finished killing a boss and we had like 5 different exits to try and find our way through, and none of them led out, so we just all died. Other than that, I think the zones themselves never feel like they would in like a battle royale where you're at a disadvantage, because obviously there's no other players and like there's no other people putting you at fault for bad positioning. It's amazingly just like yourself, your own fault if you die to that sort of thing. I'm not used to the zone move notification that you get. You get like a little notification in the corner of your screen that says the zone is moving, you need to move. But I just terrible at reading anything, and it's all in like Elden Ring language gibberish, like the night is growing, the night is raining or something like that. So I never notice it at the moment, but I'm sure it'll become like a easier thing to notice and you'll be like, oh, the zone's moving. Oh, the amount of weapons. I scrolled through the training encampment area in like the Round Table Hold main hub, and there was loads of weapons. Like there's loads to choose from, so I feel like, especially if I know there's a DLC coming as well at some point, I'm kind of excited because it already feels like I'm never going to run out of options. There's so many different weapons, and then there's the rarity of those weapons, and then it just goes on and on and on, and I'm sure like eventually, depending on the weapon you get, you'll have like a preset build in your mind where you're like, okay, I need to do this and do that, and then eventually you'll know what weapons work well for what characters, you know, what works best for each play style type of thing. That's what interests me the most. I'm a Destiny player, so I fucking love builds. I've not grasped it completely yet in Elden Ring or even in Nightreign, so it will be something I'll just have to get my head around to try and like remember everything, but I'm sure I've done it with Destiny, so this shouldn't be too bad. In terms of builds, I will say I'm glad they didn't put armor in. Armor I think would have been a step too far, and plus it would sort of be hard to identify a character as well if you could change their armor. But the weapons and the talismans and the consumable items are really interesting. There's a lot of like cool plays and ideas you can make with each sort of weapon, and like shields, weapons, anything. Oh, there's so many there's so many possibilities. It's like a treasure chest waiting to be opened, literally, like in the game. It's just a giant treasure trove of all this stuff that you can do that you want to like look into. In terms of boss resistances, I feel like if you played Elden Ring, I'm sure some of them are going to be the same. Like, some of them are going to be more resistant to fire, like they were in the base game. Some of them are more resistant to holy, lightning, so on and so forth. So I guess if you played there, you'll have a good grasp on what to use on what boss. But it does feel kind of awkward when you have a weapon that the boss is resistant to and you're just doing like peanuts of damage, whereas like another boss you might just absolutely roll them because you have the type of weapon that they're weak to. I will say I am very much really interested in where this game will go, because I don't know if they're doing a live service type thing. I know in the deluxe edition it mentions that you get the additional DLC, so I'm assuming that they'll just do one DLC and then that'll bring like maybe a new sort of map type, maybe more weapons, maybe another few characters, stuff like that. That'll be interesting as well, because the DLC format for games is kind of a thing of the past now. Live service is very much the main sort of go-to for games nowadays. Even something like Destiny, which still technically has like yearly DLCs, it still has a live service model, because, you know, a yearly DLC doesn't last for a year. You can't be doing the same thing for a whole year. But yeah, I'm interested to see where they go in terms of the service of the game, I guess you'd call it. I also think the little memories that the characters can have in the journal is kind of interesting. I don't know how you unlock them yet. I don't know if it's just you play with them more and then eventually they show up. I think it's an interesting way of doing the lore, and it's a very Elden Ring way of doing the lore, because a lot of the stuff in Elden Ring is just item descriptions and like environmental awareness of like what's going on in the world. And I think that's a very good way of putting it, especially because the map itself, with it being sort of randomly generated, it's kind of hard to put lore into it because nothing is set in stone, as it were. There's no set location for everything and there's no set timeline for everything. So it's very interesting, and the set pieces itself feel very alive and very real, which is good. That's very good. I think that's everything for now, to be honest. I don't think there's anything much more that I need to say. I've enjoyed the game. I'm interested in what it's going to bring to the From Software franchise as a whole, because it's not something that they've ever done. They sort of just do the same sort of game every time, but with a different spin on it. And this is interesting because it's an entirely different genre. It's nothing that they've ever done before in their games, and I'm curious to see how well people are going to receive it. For me personally, I like it because I sort of enjoy these sort of, not roguelike specific games, but these sort of like more fast-paced sort of in and out type games. You're not having to wait for ages or play through a really long story. I have, I think, 3 or 4 Elden Ring characters, and I get all of them to the mid game, and then I just quit and do something else for a bit, and then I come back, but then I don't want to jump back in where I left off, because that just feels like it's so overwhelming to get back into that again, and it's a repeating cycle. It's happened 4 times already. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see what they do with it. It's a fun game. It's a very fun game. I'm yet to play with friends, but I'm sure if any of them do get it, it'll be a blast to play with your friends, and it'll be much easier as well because there's the coordination aspect of it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Alright, thank you very much for watching. This is going to be a very yap video. I just wanted to do this as sort of like a in-between video, like I said, and hopefully I'll get a video essay out as soon as I can, but no promises on that. I know what my schedule's like. I'll probably do another Siege video maybe between this and the next video essay, just to sort of fill that gap a bit more, so you're not having to wait like nearly 2 months for another video. But thank you very much for watching. Any support is honestly greatly appreciated. Anything to help the channel is amazing, and thank you very much for watching this far into the video if you're still here. Like, comment, sub, any thoughts below. 100 subs, getting close. Thank you very much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.